Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Funimation. It seems that they're on the receiving end of a class action lawsuit for violating the Americans with Disabilities Act.
The ADA.
The ADA. And we're going to talk about this because we actually are re-recording the video. We did a take of the video earlier today, and then we found some more information about the person suing Funimation, and the whole thing seems a little suspect.
Yeah.
We're gonna say that. So before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're over 175,000 subs. Woo! Thank you for the support. And yeah, so this was making the rounds earlier today. Now, disclaimer: we are not lawyers.
No, this is all our opinion. I also want to point out, though, and that's what we said. Now, look, we completely 100% believe that people should be, the disability accessible to everyone. And if this has been a case of where, like, they reached out to Funimation and Funimation did nothing, and they, let them know there's an issue and they didn't fix it and didn't do it in a timely fashion, or they sent a letter and they didn't do it in a timely fashion, that's different. But I question that after some stuff we found.
So our first take was like, well, maybe this person reached out to Funimation and they just, after repeated attempts to make their website compliant for visually impaired people, they refused to do so, hence the lawsuit. But
so that's the only time I would think that would go from that to lawsuit.
Yeah, but it turns out that this person, Janissa Angelis, has actually filed many claims against many websites for the exact same thing, basically alleging that it infringes on her rights for your images to not have alt tags so she could read or at least understand what was being shown on screen with the screen reading software called non-visual desktop access. Now, I've actually worked with multiple visually impaired people. Actually, one of the best bosses I've ever had was Legally Blind. Hi, Robert, if you're listening.
I doubt he even knows we do this.
I doubt he even knows we do this now, but he was a pretty cool guy, and he had special software and special screens and stuff to help him do his job. I also worked with a DJ at a radio station who used software to read websites and tags and that sort of thing. So I do understand kind of what they're talking about, but this to me seems like an abuse of.
Yeah, because like at first we're like, okay, if they reached out and they didn't do something, yes, like in that situation I would 100% understand why they did this. But then we also heard that they want money. They want damages, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
And what they're upset about is from shopping, not being able to buy. They said they're not able to buy items on the shop because it didn't have alt tags or ways to describe the items. I'm guessing, or it didn't make it accessible for them to buy them. I'm really not understanding.
Yeah. Okay. So what the suit alleges is that the Funimation website shop.funimation.com does not accommodate her properly because she can't get a description of what is being shown on screen because there are no alt tags on the images.
Well, you can read what they said in the article here.
Yeah, so this is actually coming from Anime News Network, and we're going to go out to their forums too and see what people are saying. And this sort of set off, some warning bells for us in the original take of the video. And then we had a friend.
Actually, no, I found this.
Oh, you did find this?
Yeah, it was me who found this.
Okay. So, Janissa Angelis, a legally blind person, filed a class action lawsuit against Funimation on January 13th on behalf of herself and all others similarly situated, alleging that Funimation's website violates the American with Disabilities Act. The lawsuit was filed in southern New York. The lawsuit claims that Funimation has failed to design, construct, maintain, and operate its website to be fully accessible to and independently usable by Angelis and by other blind people, which it claims is a violation of her rights under the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Just the ADA.
Yeah, the website referred to as shop.funimation.com. Interesting. It's only shop.funimation.com. It's almost like, well, we went to funimation.com and we really didn't have any complaints there. So we had to go to the shop, which is a separate content management system. And then we found out they weren't using alt tags. So we're going to throw them on the list of sites to sue. Specifically, the lawsuit claims that features on the site lacked alt text and failed to add a label element or title attribute for each field. Additionally, the lawsuit stated pages on the site contained the same title elements, and the site contained broken links.
That happens pretty much on every site.
Exactly.
Not even on purpose. I mean, they might not even know something's not working.
There are a lot of sites out there, especially sites that have been around for decades. They might have broken links, broken images. They've changed hosts. They've changed content management systems, etc. The lawsuit states that Funimation has therefore engaged in acts of intentional discrimination.
It's intentional. Even though
intentional.
They probably didn't let them know. I mean, like I said, if you let them know and they didn't fix it, and they didn't answer you and give you and fix it in a reasonable time, then it's intentional.
The lawsuit asks for a permanent injunction that requires Funimation to retain a qualified consultant acceptable to Angelus to assist Funimation to assist them to comply with the web content accessibility guidelines.
They have to get a consultant that she picks. She's okay. Well, that sounds a little weird.
Acceptable to Angelus to assist Funimation. According to supplementary information on Title III regulations of the ADA, I actually am familiar with regulations and all that jazz. It says, although the language of the ADA does not explicitly mention the internet, the Department of Justice has taken the position that Title III covers access to websites of public accommodations.
Now, to me, that would be like, public websites, like,
library site,
that kind of stuff.
I'm
a lawyer.
Social media or something, not Funimation's Weeb store. So the department has issued guidance on the ADA as applied to the websites of public entities, which includes the availability of standards for website accessibility. Basically, you have to provide an alternate way to get the exact same experience as a sighted person.
So if they have a staff telephone line, that's okay. But it has to provide the equal access and operation. So it has to be staffed 24 hours a day in case, she decides she wants to place an order.
Yeah, and the thing is if it were just Funimation, we'd be like, well, maybe she really, really, really wanted this My Hero Academia Blu-ray set or something, and she's really upset that she wasn't able to get it, although, again, an email or a phone call probably could have gotten you what you wanted. She has apparently filed a ton of other lawsuits around the same time. But let's see what she wants specifically from Funimation. This is what she wants. Okay, this is from accessibility.com. She wants the following: a preliminary and permanent injunction to prohibit defendant, that would be Funimation, from violating the ADA Act 42, yada yada, a preliminary and permanent injunction requiring defendant to take all the steps necessary to make its website into full compliance with the requirements set forth in the ADA and its implementing regulations so that website is readily accessible to and usable by blind people.
Okay, so you think, well, that's a reasonable thing, but there's more.
But wait, there's more. There always is. A declaration that defendant owns, maintains, and or operates its websites in a manner that discriminates.
So they want them to mark their website out. You don't have to fix it, saying they discriminate against the blind people.
So you get a scarlet letter.
Yeah, so they want that too. And then they want, here's what they want. They want compensate with an order certifying the class, whatever, representative, attorney, class counsel. Compensatory damages in the amount to be determined by proof, including all applicable statutory and punitive damages and fines to plaintiff and the proposed class of subclasses for violation of their civil rights under the New York City Human Rights Law.
Civil rights. How much weeb shit was she realistically going to buy?
I don't know. And then, she violation of her rights, she deserves to be compensated.
Okay.
Pre and post judgment interest and award of costs and expenses of this action together with reasonable attorneys and expert fees. So basically, we're going to sue you, but then you have to pay for all legal fees too.
Yeah.
And other relief the court thinks is proper.
Basically money. Basically lots of money because you didn't put alt tags on your images on your website.
But it's not just them, as it turns out. I did a little search. My friend Sarah sent me the story, but I went and searched the accessibility.com. I searched the name. Yeah,
so Janissa Angelus, has filed a lot of lawsuits. So look at this, all within the last couple of months. Angelus versus Working Class.
That goes back to summer.
Book Pal, Dania B, Medella, Restaurantori, Spaderco, Anesco, the Shade Store, Sports. Oh my God. How you said there's like 60 or 70
There's like
in
60
here.
some. Candy Warehouse, Stuff Pus. And like, click on any of these. And it'll pull up that same thing. And it probably says the same thing. Features website, lack all text. Many features website fail to add and label element, attribute. And what do they want? The same types of things. What are they?
Yes.
Compensatory damages. And they
Money.
have to be determined by proof.
Money.
It's all the exact same damn thing. It's just filed over and over again. Scrubs and Beyond. Onward Capital. Aiden, whatever. Bike Bandit.
BW Equity. Onward Capital. Yeah, there's a whole bunch. of these are probably all.
Yeah, I'm not
stores?
exactly sure how many there were, but this is what comes up. Some of them, if you go through this list, it turns out to be like Los Angeles. But these
Next
are the
Grocer.
ones like October 22nd, December 22nd, January 29th. There's like several on the same dates.
Yeah, so it does seem, and I do agree that you should make your websites as accessible as possible, right? I don't believe that a person should be sued because their website isn't accessible. To me, I'm like, well, the worst thing there, if it's a shop, is you lose sales.
Or
because,
and then you get to then usually what they would do in a situation like this is let the place know that there's an issue,
right?
So that they usually are given reasonable time to fix the issue. These went right from to actual complaints filed with damages wanted, and they want every one of these places to pay for her legal fees. So basically, I'm going to file these against you. You're responsible for my legal fees, and then any damages the court awards me. But there's no mediation. Okay, fine. You go ahead and fix this.
Yeah, and the thing,
it's all class action, but it's all under her name.
Now, what's interesting is she's supposedly in New York, right? But there are websites that are literally based out of...
Doesn't matter. They said because they're filing the complaint in New York court.
Yeah, were you actually... Because there was like a local San Francisco or LA eatery back there, I think was one of them. I'm like, she realistically is gonna, she's being discriminated against because she can't order food from
Well, it doesn't matter.
Francisco?
It's class action. I think that's what they're filing it as class action. Sprout Children, Funimation, a medical shop, Blank Label Group.
And some of these companies have multiple, and they're like all online stores.
And they're mostly on the same dates too. Like there's like several, like there's December 22nd. How many were on December 22nd filed?
Oh my God.
And these were other pages, December 22nd.
2, 3, 4.
January 29th is another date that keeps coming up a lot. So I'm like, look, I 100% agree that, you have to make things as accessible as possible. It's important to do so. A lot of people don't know that, don't realize that they're not probably. Something like this, if you call them up or write them and let them know and they don't comply within a reasonable time frame, then you could probably, contact, the people that, are in charge of things like the ADA and have them reach out and say, hey, you're not compliant. Let me show you, we send you some, information on what you need to do. You have this amount of time, well, yada, yada. But this went from just like whatever to I'm suing everyone on the same days with the same lawyer in the same places.
Spray and pray. She's basically,
Who's going to settle? Who's going to settle and give me money?
So I'm going to postulate.
In my opinion.
Yes. In an opinion, your non-legal,
right? As we said, we are not lawyers. This is all our opinion.
I think it's spray and pray. I think she's, except in this case, it might be PREY. But I think it's her and the lawyer just going out to every online store they can find to be like, yep, discrimination. And I don't think, is there anything illegal about not putting alt tags in your images? I've never heard of that. I mean, you might have a shitty website. Doesn't mean it's illegal. It just means your website's garbage and you're probably going to lose out on sales.
And oftentimes, if you go to these websites and you look at the description for the item, it tells you, it'll describe the item in the description.
Yeah. Like if you go, again, My Hero Academia, here we go. It's 2 Heroes Steelbook. Here's the price. Here's the text about the plot. Here are all the specifications, again, in text that can be read. It's even right down to here's what the definition is, what the audio is, what the UPC is, etc. So it's, other than not having alt tags.
Which is what apparently is the problem.
Right. All the information is there. Now, they want alt tags to describe everything as fully as they possibly can, but here's the truth is we're dealing with the anime. We're dealing with a very visual medium. It's very hard to describe everything in detail. You'd have to write a freaking book.
Well, for pretty much anything, even a photograph on a site, it would be ridiculous. You can generalize what it's about, but you can't detail everything about it.
No.
How much room do you think this stuff has?
I would, if I were Funimation, I would say, is there anything we did on our site that kept you, Janisa, from purchasing a My Hero Academia Blu-ray set? Well, I didn't have an alt tag. Yeah, but you had enough information to know what it was, right? And you could click the button to buy it, right? So what's the problem? Did you contact us to tell us there was a problem? Or
That's what I'm saying. That's what I like to know. I like to know, were they contacted? Were any of these places contacted first and then been notified that there was an issue and someone had a problem with it? Could you please fix it? Could you please respond? Was that any case in these places, or was it just, nope, here's a whole I found 10 more websites that have alt tags. Boom.
It's a big internet. You're going to find millions of websites without alt tags.
That's what they're counting on. And if only 1% settle,
yes, that's
I'm sure there's millions
cha-ching.
Of websites and millions.
Millions and millions. Anime News Network forums, they pointed out that it's not her first lawsuit. The Funimation shop has several other issues, including the ban of foreign IP addresses, but that's, they're allowed to do that. That's kind of like the BBC with the iPlayer. They can ban, it's only good for UK citizens.
And their site might suck, but that doesn't make it suable.
Yeah. If this lawsuit makes Funimation's website usable, I'm all for it. Now, here's a blind person. Says, I didn't know you could sue for having a website that sucks for us blind folks. Look out, world. I'm going to be bringing so many of these effing lawsuits. The litigation will never end. That's it. That's the point, is just we're going to file a whole bunch of lawsuits against a whole bunch of websites and hope that they settle, because there, a lot of these companies, they have insurance for this kind of stuff, and they'll just pay okay, here's $25,000, lay down.
Right. So, this is just, and I know we have some visually impaired listeners.
Yes.
Watchers of the show. And, yeah. I wonder what they think about all this.
Yeah. Well, here we have a 0R. There are plenty of shop websites, even for bigger companies, that do not comply with the ADA Act. This is shocking and shouldn't be shocking to anyone else. To be honest, this lawsuit is dead on arrival. Yeah, unless they make it illegal to run an online store, unless you have alt text on every image on the site, then it is, because they said that even the language in the regulation didn't specify the internet.
No. This is the Department of Justice recognizes that. But, and then where does it end, though? Because maybe somebody who's colorblind can't see all the colors, and then you need alternate colors for every different version of colorblindness. Or somebody can't, somebody's dyslexic, and maybe you need to put the text, but different dyslexic readers have there's different things that they see that another dyslexic person might see. But how are you going to have every variation of that ever to be accommodating? I get it. it sucks, to not be able to access and have the same opportunities. And I really do want people to have the same opportunities. But there's limits, because in this case, like you said, they're literally giving you everything that can be run through that program and read to you. So having all text on a picture wasn't going to make much of a difference.
Yeah, it sounds to me like, given how many of these lawsuits she's filed in the last couple months, it sounds like it's just a technicality that they're going through and just finding random online stores. She found
some lawyer that's hot to file with as many as he can, and he or she don't know, and that's what's going on. That's how it appears. If someone had a legitimate issue with a website, I don't understand why they'd file dozens of other suits against everybody else if it was because of one site that they wanted to use.
I'd be like, if I were Funimation, I'd be like, okay, so what are you out? You tried to buy some Dragon Ball weeb shit? We'll send you a box of it. Go away. Here you go.
Well,
here's a box of
civil rights were violated. I'm like, how?
That's it. And this is what, I agree with Slam Man, who says, I don't usually comment on things like this, as I feel it's a matter for the courts, but for her to claim that Funimation engaged in acts of intentional discrimination with their crappy site is like saying the store wasn't timely in fixing their auto door opener is intentionally discriminating. Not defending Funimation, but to say that it's intentional implies all the crap that's wrong with Funimation's website is intentional. It's not. Basically, to sum it up, incompetence is not intentional discrimination.
Right.
So just because the website's garbage doesn't mean that they were intentionally...
Intentional means you knew something and you didn't fix it and you deliberately kept doing it. Or you knew and you did it on purpose. That would be intentional. This is not intentional. But it goes on and on.
Yeah, it's just... and I think there's going to be more. I don't think she has any... real interest in I'll be honest, I don't think she has any real interest in Funimation, because these are all over the place, like different verticals and different, whatever. I think it's basically we're just going through and finding a bunch of high profile online stores that don't have alt tags.
It's not even high profile. 2dmid.com.
2dmid.
Untilgone.com.
Yeah.
Onewheel.com.
Onewheel.com.
Ocramps.com.
OC.
Oh, OC Ramps.
OC
like
Ramps.
Cramps. I'm sorry. Is that all like O Cramps?
All the pads. All the pads and the tampons.
OCRamps.com. It looks like O Cramps. I'm sorry.
Ocramps.com.
I like OCramps.com better.
Buying in bulk.
Fizzler.com. What do these even things sell?
I don't know. I'm kind of afraid to go. Fizzler. I thought it was Fister, so I guess I would have gone with. Let's go to Fizzler.com and see. Cookware.
Okay.
Says nothing to do with weeb shit, but she's very angry that she can't buy.
Cook while she's watching her weeb shit or listening to her weeb shit.
So there are no alt tags on these images. And look, I understand how the software works. I did work with a guy for a while who was a DJ who used the software, and it actually would read the text very, very quickly, but he knew what was going on the site. He could pull up any page on CNN or whatever, and he could read the news.
Okay, how does this not describe it? Original collection stainless steel serving pan with glass lid. Serving pan with tempered glass lid, perfect for braising and keeping food warm. You can choose your size.
That's a good.
Because it didn't say it was a pot with two handles.
Yeah, I guess it's shiny.
It's silver.
Says Fizzler on it.
It has two handles on the sides.
It's got some. I don't know. This isn't about Funimation. This is about just throwing lawsuits against the wall to see which ones are going to stick. I think the vast majority of these are going to be probably thrown out. So there we go. That's what's going on.
Yeah. So I mean, in our opinion.
In our opinion as non-lawyers. Our opinion
but looking at the multiple suits being filed by the same place.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yep. So we're going to wrap this one up.
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. And if you have an online store, put those alt tags or they're going to come get you.
Mm-hmm. Apparently stores, it seems like. Yeah.
Apparently. So we'll talk to you later.
Bye.